As I was gathering my things to leave for the night, I overheard my coworkers talking about going to the circus after work. I've always been fascinated by circuses, but I'm too afraid to go on account of all the stories that I've heard. Initially, I was hesitant to go, but listening to my friends talk about how much fun they were going to have, I started to feel left out. Forget it. I'll go, I thought to myself. I just need to get out and go do something. I mean, they gave me a free ticket. What's the worst that could happen? I end up not liking it? As we walked into the circus, the smell of popcorn and cotton candy filled my nose, and the bright light seemed to blind me for a moment. My friends went inside and grabbed our tickets and went to get our seats. We had the best seats in the house too, right in the front row. When the show began, it opened with a group of acrobats who performed amazing stunts. After that was a man on a unicycle who rode around the ring at breakneck speeds. Then came the clowns, with their silly jokes and their baggy clothes. But as funny as they seemed, there was something about one of them that made me uneasy. One of them was staring at me, and I mean directly at me. I felt like I was hallucinating. I felt terror and anxiety build up inside of me. I'd never seen a clown, let alone anyone with such a lifeless gaze. I just felt like something was off about him. Next up was the main event, the elephants. They were massive. I couldn't help but feel scared as they stomped around the ring. One of the elephants went AWOL, so we had to evacuate the tent for our safety. After the circus closed, we stayed and talked for a while at the entrance. We laughed, joked, and shared stories. But as the night grew, one by one, everyone went their own way until everyone was gone and I was by myself. So I headed home to call it a night. As I walked to my car, all alone in the dark parking lot, I couldn't help but feel a sense of dread thinking about that clown during the show. I got that feeling that something was watching me. I turned around to see nothing out of the ordinary. I shrugged it off, got in my car, and started to drive home. On my way home, I smelled something foul. I tried to alleviate the smell by rolling my windows down, which didn't help at all. I figured it was roadkill and I'd eventually pass it. But 1 mile passes, then the next, and then the mile after that, and it was still as strong as ever. The smell was so unbearable that I had to pull over and get out. I got out of my car to look around to see if I had hit something, inspecting all the nooks and crannies, presuming that I'd find something, but I couldn't find anything. Must be coming from inside my car, I thought to myself. I opened the back door gagging as the smell hit me in the face. It was stronger back here, but to my surprise, I found nothing. There's nothing in the back seat. The only other place that I could think would be the trunk. I get my keys and go to the back of my car to pop the trunk. Opening it, I'm greeted with what smelled like an animal had curled up and died. What the hell is that? It looked like a bundle of bright patterned clothes, dirtied and covered in muck. I poke it, only to realize that it's a person. It's that clown from the circus, I said. I couldn't help but to let out a scream, and in a panic, I ran to the front of my car to get my phone. I quickly dialed 911. While waiting for the operator to pick up, I walked to the trunk to have a look. It's gone. I hang up the phone, and I try to convince myself that it's just stress, and I've had a long week at the office. My mind's probably making stuff up. But that thought had been ripped away from me. Without having to turn around, I knew it was there. The stench alone was enough for me to know that it was behind me. Panic started to well up inside of me, and I fought hard to keep it at bay. I tried to keep my breath steady and stay calm, even though every instinct inside of me was telling me to run. I felt it staring at me. Though I couldn't see its gaze, I felt it. Frozen. Somehow I was able to turn around, and there it was. Makeup smeared, clothes dirty, and with a wicked smile on its face. Run. My only reaction was to run as fast as possible. So I did. I ran into the forest hoping that the night would conceal me. The forest. It felt like a maze. The trees were tall, and their branches intertwined, making it difficult to see more than a few feet in front of you. Occasionally, the moon would peek from behind the clouds and light up the path ahead, but for the most part, it was too dark to see anything. I couldn't turn around either. I had no clue where I was when I parked. The only thing I could do was hope that someone lived out here who could help. I heard a noise from behind me and quickly spun around, but there was nothing there. just the sound of the wind rustling through the leaves. I took a deep breath and tried to calm myself down, but my heart was racing. I turned back around and started walking again, trying not to think about what was lurking in the darkness behind me. As I continued to run, something sharp sliced into my foot. I yelped in pain and stumbled backwards, tripping over an object hidden in the undergrowth. When I looked down, I could see that it was a long piece of broken glass embedded into the ground. I tried to take another step forward, but I couldn't. I found that I couldn't put any weight on my injured foot. It hurt so much that I couldn't help but to let out a cry, and I could hear it gaining on me. The crunch of the leaves, getting louder and louder the closer it got. With nowhere left to go, I laid up against a tree and prepared for the worst. I'd been running a long time. I'm tired, scared, and alone. The clown was getting closer and closer, its sinister smile widening with each step. I closed my eyes